delight to have here with me Catalina Gonzalez. She just completed a program in social entrepreneurship at the INSEAD campus in Singapore, and she's a social entrepreneur. Her father and her have developed a fabulous program and a kit for literacy, both literacy and numeracy. And I'll ask Catalina to describe it to you.
Thank you so much, Flo. We have been working for many years, and our initial model was actually the abcdespañol, but what I'm going to be showing you today is the abcdEnglish version, and we have also rolled it in other languages such as Portuguese. And it's actually a very simple board game that is played by 4 people at the same time. We have used it with children, but also with youth in prisons and also adults. And the idea is that there is a problem that occurs here, and then some answers that you can find in order to complete the process. And then there's a workbook where you actually go and register what you learn through playing. And we also have math versions of this same model to teach numeracy. So that is how it works.
What I love about it is that you've got tiles that fit in semi-jigsaw-like, and you need to then correlate them with words and images. But as you progress in the game or the activity, the images get less and less prominent, and at the end you're left with words. You also end up creating problems and narratives and stories and activities. So with a limited set of words, you end up doing quite a lot of stuff. And you're introduced into literacy backwards. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Backwards in the sense that we have always been introduced to literacy starting with letters, but the letters are so abstract in a way. So we want to start with words, and from the words go backwards in the process, as you said, and end up with the letter, which is like the most abstract element. So we want to go from the concrete to the abstract, and we have found that process allows the person to acquire knowledge quicker and faster.
Fabulous. And what's the role of the teacher in this, and how do you help and support the teacher?
What we want the teacher or facilitator to be is to be able to allow the students to learn more than teaching something. So we want the students to be able to create a space where they're learning, and the facilitator then becomes a champion of that, and is motivating and creating and problematizing what they're learning even more. But it also liberates the teacher, or to do that important role in the school, which is like noticing what's happening with their kids. I think a lot of teachers have great intentions, but we do a very lousy job at providing the support that they need, or the skills that they need, or the tools that they need to be successful at their job. And in the context in which we work, teachers are not really appreciated, and that also creates all sorts of problems. So what we do is we train the teachers in their pedagogical principles, and also on our steps or method to acquire literacy.
And how long does it take a teacher to get up to speed, to be able to really not understand the game, but also get kids to play it and so on? And how long does it take a kid to achieve literacy, as it were, from pretty much ground zero?
Right. So 2 very important questions. So we have tried to condense as much as we can, or the lapse of training, and we are doing this in a week, which is extremely intense, but very productive. And in that week, all the content and the method, the process, is learned. And then in terms of what the amount of time that a child needs to in order to acquire the basic literacy and numeracy skills, we have found that between 4 and 6 months this can be achieved, playing 1 hour a day. So we are thinking, about between 120 and 190 hours.
That's fabulous. And what's the general yardstick for achieving literacy? Is it do you improve on that substantially?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're talking about children that have no ability whatsoever to read a word. And so at the end of the process, they are able to read, of course, words, but also to be able to read the sentences and interpret what the sentences are saying. Because it's also the ability to not only read something, but to process the content.
And they've been understanding in the context of constructing stories
Right.
and solving problems
Right,
and the
right.
like.
And in the workbooks, you also have an opportunity, as I said earlier, to make sure that all that is being learned here is really taking
Sort
place.
of reinforced through
Reinforced.
more formal, traditional kind of
Correct.
stuff. So traditional learning methods, how long does it take for somebody to achieve literacy?
Well,
Is there sort of a general yardstick?
we want to say like a year.
Yeah, so it's substantially cut down.
So we
the
cut
time.
down that, but what we are finding also is that that year is not even enough in some instances.
Yeah,
So a lot of reports and studies are coming back to us, showing us that children finish 4th grade not knowing how to read and write.
Yeah.
So.
And how many countries have you reached out to, and approximately how many kids have or adults have learned literacy through this method?
So we have worked in 10 countries, mostly in Latin America. So we have worked in the 6 countries of Central America, and then of course Colombia, which we're, from there, so it becomes our perfect niche. And we are also working in Dominican Republic and also in Puerto Rico. To date, we have been able to reach more than 1 million people.
Fabulous. What's next on the horizon for you? What are your aspirations and key challenges moving forward?
We have an enormous task. I mean, we're talking about the fact that about 800 million people in the world don't know how to read and write. If we really want to make sure that all those strategies for productivity happen, that needs to become a priority. We want to ensure that the kids have a better future. We need to ensure that they are learning reading, writing, and math. So the task is enormous. Next for us, working more with the English version, see if there is new potential for to reach more kids in that direction, potential for other languages as well. We're also working in virtual, making this a virtual version of this, so maybe there is also space to create much more impact. So
great.
Yeah.
Catalina, thank you so much.
Thank
it's been
you.
a pleasure, and I
Thank
wish
you.
you every success.